In the Acts of the Apostles in chapter 27, we see how Paul is on a ship together with another 276 passengers on the way to Rome. Actually, that ship is a bit like a floating prison, because they are all prisoners. They are on their way to Rome to be judged in Rome. Everything is pretty normal until they arrive in a harbor. In that harbor, they have to decide whether they keep going or not. Paul, he thinks it's better to stay. But the captain and the owner of the ship, they think, no, we must go ahead. There's a gentle wind blowing at that time, and so they are encouraged and confident to go. While they are just on the ship, there's suddenly, then Scripture says, a strong wind blowing in from the land towards the sea. A storm is coming, takes that ship and tosses it, takes it and moves it, and they give up. They cannot control the ship anymore. This is pretty much how we feel in our storm of coronavirus these days. And so what happens on the ship and what they do on the ship is important for us to see and to understand. What's the first thing they do in this situation? They try with ropes to strengthen the ship. They try to pull ropes around the ship to give it more strength, so that the ship is better protected from the waves, that the wood that is the ship is getting stronger. Now, what does it mean for us? It means that in situations like the storm where we are in, the structures, they have to be strengthened. The structure of family, structure of society, different structures in society. Yes, one has to put limits. One has to say what one can do, what one cannot do. One has to take precautions, and one has to be clear and direct. One has to strengthen the ship, because if we don't, we will lose the ship, and together with the ship, the passengers and the crew. We have to pull it together, like with ropes. But we have to pull those ropes with measure, with a certain measure. We must not pull too strong. We must not press too hard, or we break it. And then it's us who broke it and not the storm. Yes, we have to tighten it, but we must not strangle it. We have to protect it, but not to break it. And there lies the wisdom, to know how to set the limits, to know how to pull those ropes, not legalistic, rigid, imposing, because that in the end will turn into the negative. Solomon, the great king of Israel, he experienced that. When he came to the throne, he wanted too much. He was demanding too rigorously, too much taxes. He was pressing the people too hard. He was pressing the tribes of Israel too hard for too many contributions, And what happened? By the end, it caused division. Division in the kingdom for which his father David had labored so hard. As soon as Solomon dies, the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, they separate and they start fighting each other. Solomon, he had tightened those ropes too strong, too hard. One has to tighten the rope, but not to strangle. The first thing to do is to gird the hull of the ship, to hold it together with ropes, but to hold it together, not to break it. One has to protect the structure, like the structures that we have in the family, the structures we have in society, the structures we have in community. One has to strengthen it without breaking it. And this is the first thing that we learn from this journey of Paul. The first thing that he's teaching us. The second and the third we will look at in the coming videos.